Hello everyone, this is CyberEric with another gameplay overview. This is for Banjo-Kazooie Mumbomania. So what is this? This is a fan-made project made entirely in Dreams, which is a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 title. And I'm gonna go over the gameplay for it. But before I go, please like and subscribe. It is appreciated and it helps this YouTube channel out. So first of all, this comes from Dreams. So here I am controlling the background of Dreams in the background. And I'll probably do another video of Dreams alone and some of the other things that you can find in the Dreams application, right? But for the most part, look for this here, Banjo-Kazooie Mumbomania, developed by Infolace and Piece of Craft and Duck Economics, and I'll show them at the end, and I'll put their links at the bottom. But here's the main title. When you launch the thing in Dreams, basically what you're going to get is this. It's got its own tutorial, and basically I'm going to go over it because I kind of want to capture this video to capture how good this is, how good I felt that this was. So major props to the creators or anybody else that worked on this. So for example, obviously you can jump. It actually feels incredibly well. Obviously it's also designed in Dreams, and they're using the internal mechanics for how to make games in there, right? If you don't know what Dreams are, again, I'll probably make another video real quick after this. But I wanted to show this one immediately because this is a great invention. You basically have here Kazooie walking around. Here's he'll move faster. Very, very classic Banjo-Kazooie vibes. It really is kind of like a Banjo-Kazooie 3, even though Banjo-Kazooie 3 technically exists. So Banjo-Kazooie 4 maybe. Again, you can jump around, attack, etc., etc. You have your different combos and combat here. You can shoot the egg, very classic Banjo-Kazooie, where Banjo bends down and Kazooie drops the little egg. You can jump around and basically drop the egg downward, right? You don't have the bounce, bounce downward like Mario does, right? But you can grab additional eggs. I think this is new for. I don't remember this in the original Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie. You can basically use your dual shock controller, right? Dual stick, and you're gonna be able to basically command this little Mumbo from basically grabbing little icons. So, and you'll be doing that in the map. And I thought that this was an amazing example of level design, even though if it's just one level. For example, Mumbo here, he can also explode and attack enemies. You don't use it that much, but there's some features on it. One new thing for this game is you can transform into different things, and I'll show the transformations one by one and I'll explain them. Basically here you can turn into a rock, and you can basically sneak through particularly smaller places and other things that you can do. And again, I'll go over each transformation piece by piece. So let's go over real quick like the main objectives of what this is, right? Banjo-Kazooie Mumbomania. What is this? So basically it's like one stage, it's one level. It's not multiple stages or anything like that, but it is a complete map, if you will. It's got these little NPCs, you can walk around, they'll give you little like side missions. This is very short, by the way. You can do this in like or two, to be perfectly honest. But it's an amazing experience, which I highly recommend to try, particularly if you have Dreams. You'll be running around, you're catching these notes, you're catching also the Jiggies. They have the great animation for you got a Jiggy, and there's 30 of them to catch in the entire map. And that's what you're going to basically doing, exploring, unlocking different Jiggies to unlock different transformations, to then unlock more until you get the whole collection, right? And you're going to find different, obviously, rooms, etc., etc. And there's going to be puzzles, by the way. This is not just like a side-scroller 3D platformer. You're going to have little puzzles here and there, like this, for example, here, where I had to basically select the different combination. And again, there's even more than me explaining here. I won't spoil all the other many puzzles, but this is like a very quick, easy one. You're going to get different Jiggies, and the idea is to ramp up until you catch basically all 30, and as you collect them, you'll be unlocking new transformations. But for example, moving around the map here, you just got like a sandcastle. You also find these little dudes, if you remember from Banjo-Kazooie, the Jinjos, and you get to collect them all, and you get a Jiggy, and they're laid out throughout this whole map. And there's like underwater sections as well, by the way. Again, I think this is an excellent mini game, if you will. Outstanding by the developers. The music is outstanding as well, by the way. I want to give full props for everything here. For example, here's a little puzzle. You can even see the bird floating around with a Jiggy. You'll catch that later. I won't show everything. But for example, here You basically feed this pearl, he moves around the map, it forces you to go around the map and kind of explore it. I think this is great. And again, it's a smallish map, but it's great for exploring. For example, here, I got this little castle in the water here, and basically I find the next shell here, and then I shoot my trusty egg to it, and I'll get a jiggy out of it, right? So little things like this make it so that it's such a great experience. And again, 3D platformer, of course. You're gonna have different features. You're gonna be able to have, it's a complete movement base, I would say, if you will. You even have things that are very classic to Banjo-Kazooie games, like the guitar here, where you can actually feed it the notes, and it'll give you jiggies. And you have to do this, by the way, so you have to collect every single note as well, if you collect everything. So you're gonna do this, and you get different things. So again, there's puzzles, there's jiggies that are basically floating there. You have to figure out how to get them. It's an excellent encompassing of what this is. So again, and I'm basically showing a lot of footage because I kind of wanted to capture my gameplay because I like this so much. But basically you're going around here, right? And one of the other things, for example, as I mentioned, the puzzles is you're gonna find something here, and you're gonna have to use, for example, the cannon transformation. You're like, what is this? And in this case, I have it, but again, I'll show the transformations in a second. But here's the different puzzles and how you're gonna collect. And it's a big map. Alright, so transformations. Transformations, basically you're gonna have different ones, and I will go over every single one. I already showed the cannon, so let's start with that one, even though that's the second one you're gonna get. Basically, you convert into this very weird odd cannon, and you can shoot yourself far away to catch far away things. One example, for example, at the top here of the mountain, I already have all transformations there, but to show you up, you aim upwards, and you basically can get that jiggy at the top. There may be another way to get it, but that's just how I got it, right? So I'm pretty sure you can explore and figure out other ways to potentially do it. That's just a great way of showing it. And that's one of the transformations. Another one is, for example, this little crab goes in there. So I go into my rock form, and I go back and chase him. And surprise, surprise, because you are a rock, and I did mention underwater parts of it, you obviously sink. Surprise, surprise, rocks sink. Yay! So with that, obviously the rock won't also be damaged by these like mines, I guess. So you're gonna have to be able to use like little platforming sections for the rock, and you'll be able to find hidden things, like for example this area here. And basically you're gonna be running around underwater a lot with the rock form, because that's one of two ones that sink underwater, if you will. And I'll show the other one in a second. But basically that's what you're gonna be doing, running around. This is the rock transformation, and it's for a lot of different puzzles as well. And you expect a lot of puzzles in this little game. Another thing is, obviously, you can once you defeat enemies and you have the jiggies, you can collect their transformations. For example, this plunk, and I'm now able to transform into that giant creature that I'll show in a second here. And again, I'm showing the full movement. I'm basically running back to the point, so I can get the point to transform. And there we go. And now I am this giant rock thing that shoots punches his arms forward, and you're basically going to be using it to break things. You can use it to defeat enemies, even though, again, this is more like a puzzle game. You're not basically here that much for combat. Although there are a couple of combat segments, by the way. And that's how you kind of get, for example, things inside these chests, etc., etc. And you're going to find jiggies, and you're going to be able to walk around. Good for combat, like I mentioned, if and when you have to do it. And you can also go underwater to find particular things like that. There you go. All right, so that's one of the other. That's the third transformation. And for example, oh, by the way, this is a cute thing that I saw. If you're transformed, even the small notes like that, like the banjo there, being afraid of you, the instrument, those little details make it such an interesting thing to play here. The fourth transformation I wanted to show is this little floating fish skeleton thing. It's timed, so but basically that's kind of one of the ways where you can actually capture different things and basically move around the map a little bit faster. For example, here's one of the main features that I use for using it out. That little alcove in the back there, the fish will basically be able to let you get there. But basically that's kind of it. That's the fourth transformation. And again, you explore around, figure out how to get to the different things, and you'll be able to find all the jiggy puzzles. All right, the final one is the hog swash, if I'm saying that right. And the trick for this is basically you're getting at the very end. And the reason you're getting at the very end is simply because it doesn't really do much in terms of combat or mechanics. But what he does do is give you this scope that allows you to see where the other remaining GEs are. So once you get to like 24, I think is when you unlock this one. This will help you. What am I missing from the map? Excellent design feature, by the way. This was extremely welcome because at the end, I didn't know how to get there. So creators, real quick, I mentioned already, Euphalace, Piece of Craft, and Duck Economics are the ones credited here. There's also the Game Brass made the music for this. I'll put their links of their X accounts at the bottom of the video here. So final impressions. Again, I love this. I'm really making this video as a passion for me because I tried this on a whim because I saw it online on like news articles and stuff, and I love this. I love this so much that I'm making this video both to capture my gameplay and also to kind of show it to people. It's like, hey, this exists. This is what creators can do. And for example, when you die, you just come back, so don't worry too much about it. But that's basically it. It's a great little mini platformer. Again, it'll take you like an hour or two to complete, but it's outstanding. Again, there's a couple of things that I haven't even shown because it's just full of these little details. That's it for this video. Please leave a comment, and subscribe if you have any particular questions on this gameplay footage or anything else. Thank you everybody for watching, and as always, have a good one, everyone. This is CyberEric, signing out.